Okay, we are live. So for those listening at home, welcome to the Dungeon Musings YouTube channel. My name is Kevin Madison, and I will be your friendly Dungeon Muser today. I just got in the mail. We had show up a copy of the Sinister Silver Edition of the Ghosts of Saltmarsh. I'm just looking over my shoulder to make sure that the stream's actually going live. We have had a great deal of difficulty today, or at the time of recording, with YouTube. Where streaming was down actually for a couple of hours. So I'm hoping that you will appreciate that. I have actually waited to open this thing for several hours now to in order to actually capture an authentic unboxing. So what showed up today was this thing. I did get the box open, so I've got the bubble wrapped version of the Sinister Silver Edition of the Ghosts of Saltmarsh. So if you're not familiar with this, this is a product that's created by Beadle and Grimm, which is so Matt Lillard and Paul, I can't remember your last name, from Beadle and Grimm. It's basically a company that was founded to create deluxe editions of role-playing adventures, of D&D adventures. So the first one that was released was a platinum edition of the Waterdeep Dragon Heist box set adventure that had been published by Wizards of the Coast. This is that one was this massive, like $500 US box that was like, yay by yay. And if you can find actually a link to it, just an unboxing of it in my channel. This is a scaled down version of that. They want to do something a little more modest, something that was a little more reasonably priced, something that was not quite the. Not to say that the other thing wasn't reasonably priced. It's just that it's not every group is going to want to pony up $500 for an adventure they may not have. They may have already played, because at that point when that one came out, it was a little late. The adventure rather had been out for quite some time, but this one came out almost concurrently with the Ghosts of Saltmarsh adventure that was published by Wizards of the Coast. So let's get this thing open and see what the actual. Cool. Okay, so. This, as background for this adventure, I actually haven't read the adventures. This time I decided to hold off and read my actual Beadle and Grimm version. But what it is basically it is a set of adventures that are reskinning of old adventures, including the Secrets of Saltmarsh, or the Sinister Secret of Saltmarsh, which is right here. So one of the adventures is a updated version of this sucker here, the Sinister Secret of Saltmarsh, and then a couple other nautical adventures. And I actually don't know what other ones are in there. So what this comes in is this pretty awesome burlap sack that contains your copy of the actual adventure box. It says Saltmarsh Trading Company on it, so that's pretty awesome. That's going to look great on the. Wow. Okay. So this is what the actual box looks like here, and this is more of a traditional actual box than what the big oversized Dragon Heist one was. And so one of the things I like about this, about the idea of it being an actual box, apart from it being something that's going to be easier to find space for, I found that over time the Dragon Heist one, actually the cover started to bow a bit. So I mean, it's still it's a beautiful product, but having something that is going to, I think this will retain its shape a little better over time. You can see in the illustration there too, it's got this really awesome thing of things coming from below. My mind goes to Lovecraftian deep ones, but I'm guessing it's going to be like Lokatha or Shawagin or something like that. So let's see what's inside here. So first off, we get this. This is the first thing that greets us, the Sinister Silver Edition. And it tells us what's in the box. And there's another. Okay, so here we go. We got Bill, Charlie, John, Matthew, and Paul. Those are the folks who are behind Beadle and Grimm. So my apologies for leaving a bunch of people out in that last one. And what it reads is, "Dear brave adventurer, it was only 2 years ago that we first boarded this little boat called Beadle and Grimm's and pushed it out into the open water. There was barely enough room on board for the 5 of us. The rations were tight or light, our compass was faulty, and we'd be doing all the rowing ourselves. But in spite of all of that, our spirits were high, and for the first time we were sailing our own ship and deciding our own peculiar fate. In the months that followed, we've fought our share of terror-inducing battles, from Reddit raiding parties to the multi-tentacled demon of international shipping. Surviving through the creation of our first Platinum Edition seemed like a minor miracle, but somehow, with your help, we made it to port intact. The boat's a little bigger now, thanks to you. It's still just the 5 of us rowing, but the supplies are suited for a longer journey. We've plotted an ambitious course for 2019, and it begins with what you hold in your hands, the very first B&G Silver Edition. Whether you're a new customer or a veteran of the Waterdeep Dragon Heist box, we hope the contents exceed your most sinister expectations. That's pretty cool. So one of the things that does as a backstory for this too is, from what I understand, this is like Matt's gaming group. You know, these guys are all who play D&D together, and the idea behind these products was not just to create some deluxe thing. It was to make for the best experience you could get at the table. You know, to make the give all the little handouts and illustrations and maps and cool in-universe artifacts that would make the play of these games even better. The sort of stuff you did as kids, where you'd create like burned maps and stuff like that, just with the full force of a production company behind it. So that was the first thing you see. You also see, oh man, okay, so here's the first handout. Here is this cool little, and I have absolutely no idea how any of this fits into the adventures necessarily, but this is this cool handout that's got like things written on it, and it feels like an old piece of paper, like it's all crinkled and it feels water damaged. And even the ink on it has like fading, like you would have with actual ink from a quill. Oh man, there's a ton of these things in here. Like, look at this thing! Holy shit! Look how cool that looks. This water damaged map. Oh my gosh! And there's a couple more in here as well too. Look at these guys. So this is all, I'm assuming, handouts for the adventure as well. That's what they did in the last one as well. Let's see what else. Okay, we've got more monster cards. So this was something they did in the last one as well. Let me see if I can get this bad boy open. Where's my multi-tool? Multi-tool. Come here, you. They had, basically what it was is the idea was similar to the monster cards that you may be familiar with if you are a 5th edition player. But instead of having something you just lie down in front of you, these guys, are they like it again? Yes, they are. Very cool. It's hangers. So you can, with your DM screen, you hang the sucker over. The players get to see this cool illustration of whatever the monster is. And on the back, boom, you got all your info of what the monsters are. And in addition to the actual handouts, oh, cool. No, there's actually, so you go, giant octopus. And there's a whole slew of these suckers here. Look at these guys. Some of this art seems to be taken from the other products, from like the Monster Manual or other things. There's a harpy, I believe. Yep. Goblins. Let's see if there's other stuff. Ooh, Chul. Chul! I have friends who still remind me of when I accidentally did a total party kill with some Chul. Little bullywugs in there. There's some characters in here as well, which look pretty awesome. So these are all, I have no idea how many there are in here, but it appears to be all the different critters and encounters. Oh man, it's a great looking aboleth. Look at that. Holy smokes. Whew. I like that kind of like lamprey style they've got to it as well. What is this sucker here? Coalinth. Look at that. Nifty. So all of these, again, are all going to be, I'm assuming, tied to the different adventures that you'll be playing here. Another Coalinth Sergeant. From what I understand, this adventure, it tries to reintroduce some of the different undersea creatures that were in previous editions of Dungeons and Dragons and have yet to make an appearance in this one. That's awesome. So it's Lizard Folk Noble. Check that out. Wow, he's cool. Cool looking guy. Can I get the camera to work? Let's see. No, not quite enough. Yeah. So, and does look like there's some original art in here, or at least stuff that that is new for Sinister Saltmarsh. This is a 5th edition version of the Scum, which is fucking cool. Like, I don't know if you're a fan of older versions of D&D, the Scum are typically depicted as kind of like salamander men. This is a way cooler. These are creatures that have been warped by the magical presence and the goo that comes off of an aboleth. So that's pretty awesome. Aboleth are a really great monster as well. Next up, we've got a little bag full of a couple of handouts in here too. Looks like badges again, which is pretty neat. We got 2 badges in here. Oh man, I don't know what the heck that is. Ooh, that's pretty neat. And then there's one that, goes around. It's a hanging thing. Look at this. Okay, so there's one that's looks like it's a coin. There's a badge. Oh, man, it's a pendant. Look at this thing. She looks like a coin, and like you can see on there, it's got this. Oh, that's perfect. Look at that. The amount of detail in that. It really looks like honestly, it looks like kind of like a movie prop. There's a big thing on the bottom, and it's actual leather. That's makes the strap up. And then what is this other sucker here? This is a pin of some kind, because there's little things on the back there. So that's pretty cool. I imagine that fits in with the adventure in some capacity as well. What else we got here? We got some more handouts for illustrations. They had this stuff in the other one as well. Man, these colors are beautiful too. Like, look how blue some of this stuff looks. Sorry, I'm going to try and do a better job of holding this stuff up. Look at that. Wowzers. You talk about a way of, and it's all hangers as well too. So check it out. You can actually, you got one on one side that are just strict illustrations, and then on the other, that does not look good. I would not want to be in that bait shop or whatever the heck it is. And that aboleth is coming calling. So it looks like there's a lot of illustrations that are taken from the scenes that you would be playing in or acting out. I won't hold up any others just to avoid any inadvertent spoilers if someone is intending on actually playing through this sucker. Let's take a look at the DM screen, because that was pretty awesome last time. Okay, so we got a couple other things in here. I'll get these out, and we got the DM screen. So the DM screen is nice hard stock. Wow, it's really, really hard stock paper as well. So this does not have on the inside. Well, here's what the outside looks like. So if you really want to get in I guess if I'm a DM, there we go. Wow. That is a pretty great bit of maritime action there. And the inside of this is a bunch of information on aquatic topics. So there's stats for a keelboat, a sailing ship, rowboat, crash damage when a ship runs into each other, what underwater combat means, storm difficulties, quick ship names on here. So it looks like there's a bunch. Oh, and then some random encounter tables for aquatic monsters. So it doesn't have any of the stuff that you would have on the DM screen, but what it does have is everything you'd need for this adventure. So if you're playing it, I mean, a lot of people nowadays, when they play in person, they're not, playing on their coffee table or something like that. They've got big gaming tables. I would set this up as well as my DM screen. So I've got my DM screen to have all my other information on it. That appears to be what is intended here. That's really great. That's very cool. I like this. I like this better than the previous one as well, only because it doesn't have the last one, because it was a more freeform city-based thing. It had a lot of like factions and stuff on the inside of there, which I imagine was quite handy for it. But this I could see having extra value beyond. If you're playing a maritime campaign, this is going to continually have value for you. Okay, so next up looks like some maps here. Where is this place here? Oh, we got two maps. So we got a place called the Styes. So on this side here. And on the other side is a battle map. Whoa, jeez. And this is paper with some kind of treatment on it. It's not. It's quite sturdy, or it feels quite sturdy, and it's a little bit not undersized, but it fits nicely in that box. And the last thing to go through is, what I'm guessing, is the maps of the other the other battle mats and the books for the adventure itself. Because what it does is it provides you all the different adventures that were in the actual Wizards of the Coast one, the hardback, only in more convenient forms, where it's broken down by chapter, or in this case, I imagine by adventure. So, oh man, we got more stuff in here too. Holy smokes! So first up, we got this really awesome like plastic map. Oh, it feels like it's dry erase. And we got the Sea Ghost. Let me try and hold this up here, guys. There we go. Look at that. More folks. Boy, oh boy. And there is another one. So you get your battle map. And then you got one with a little more detail in it. So that's pretty awesome. Yeah, okay, so that's pretty cool. I imagine that a lot of the encounters will take place on your ship. I'm assuming that's why that's in there. And I say, actually, a time at recording as well, too. There is a Kickstarter that's going on involving an actual, like, break-apart version of the Sea Ghost that you can get, too. Maybe what I'll do is, between now and when I finish recording, I'll go back in and I'll add a link to that as well, too. In addition, I mentioned that there's some other handouts in here, so it looks like there's a bunch of other cool stuff here too. More handouts, very similar to what you had in the other one, the Dragon Heist one. This is all great stuff. Like, this is just, it's so much fun to have this kind of stuff to hand out to your players. I'm not currently running 5th edition because I'm running a lot of OSR games. But man, this makes you want to run this game now. This is such great stuff. Look at that stuff. Boy, oh boy. And it's cool that each of the things does not look like it's drawn by the same hand either. It's not one person or one like font that spells out everything. Everything looks unique for all the different handouts. There is, I have no idea what this is. See a treasure map as well, which is pretty great. More handouts. Whoop. And more handouts. Boom. And a certificate of achievement in defense of the town of Saltmarsh. So if you're successful in defending the town of Saltmarsh, I guess you get something there. As with the previous edition as well, too, or previous box set or Platinum edition, there's some extra encounters. So what this box set does is it doesn't only just provide you with the existing adventures, it gives you some supplemental stuff as well to flesh out the actual content of the Ghosts of Saltmarsh adventure. So one of them is a bonus one for the high seas. And then we've got some cool other handouts here that have like, skull dunes and a bunch of other things that I have no idea how these are used. Oh man, here we go. Really beautiful handout for the town of Saltmarsh. Very cool. I'll be interested to see is whether these are available in PDF as well too, whether you can pick up the PDF versions of these so that if you're playing, I guess you're not playing online, you're grabbing these things, but that's a really great looking map of Saltmarsh. It'd be cool to have that for any game as well. So, what's neat here is there's a bunch of, looks like these are actually pre-gen. So there's, I was confused by these characters in here. I was trying to figure out how they were your enemies, but it's actual, it looks like characters here. So you got a character called Anaki Ki, who's human sorcerer, halfling rogue, halfling half-elf ranger. So that's pretty cool. And a lizard folk barbarian. Oh, cool. Because I know the lizard folk were introduced as a player character in, Mordenkainen's Guide. I don't know. One of the monster guides. Volo's Guide to Monsters. And then there's some other cool maps in here. Looks like extra encounters as well. Oh, and the maps are double-sided. So there's tons of awesome dungeon for you to explore. That is super cool. Love me some dungeons, if for no other reason, because you can easily repurpose those things. So as I expected, these things are, what they've done again is broken down the different adventures, into different chapters. So you've got chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, 6 in this one, chapter 7 and 8 in here, and then the appendices. So let's see here. Boy, these look great. The Sinister Secret of Saltmarsh is the one that is in this first chapter, which is pretty cool. And I'm wondering. Oh, they did do it. Okay, cool. So I was wondering whether there was a homage illustration in there. And check it out. So there is the illustration that starts off the Sinister Secret of Saltmarsh, and there's the original cover. So pretty cool. Some people checking out a creepy old house. The interior of these looks, I'm assuming, identical. The last one, the Dragon Heist, was identical to the one that was the hardback. It just had it had it in broken up in different chapters. This appears to be the same as well too. Boy, what is going on there? Whew. Those folks look like they're in trouble. Yeah, so I mean, it looks like there's a lot of content in here as well too. So what I understand is the Saltmarsh trilogy. This sort of follows that, and then there are a couple of other the adventures or the chapters at least are a chapter on Saltmarsh itself, then the Sinister Secret of Saltmarsh, then Danger at Dunwater, then Salvage Operation, then Isle of the Abbey, and then the final enemy is chapter 6, and then Temeralt's Fate, and chapter 8 is the Styes. And then there's the appendices. Let's take a peek at what's in the appendices. I'm not super concerned about what's in the adventure, but oh, this is awesome. So in the appendices, not only do you get this really great version of a Locatha, I think that's a Locatha, you also get, they have maps in the appendices, and I imagine this is the same as in the hardback, but it's kind of cool having this separate. There is maps of the different types of ships, keel boats, long ships. Oop, there we go. Boom, boom. There we go. Sorry, I'm not doing a very good job of holding these up. There we are. You know, just as someone who runs not a huge amount, but I mean some maritime adventures, having access to floor plans for ships is always useful. It's always a pain in the butt trying to search through old products or products from other versions. Pathfinder's got a neat book on different ships, but not just generic ships. So this stuff is going to be really helpful for, I think, if you have any sea voyages, even if you don't run this stuff, this is pretty helpful. Tons of great rules in here, it looks like, on making the oceans feel really alive. Some random encounters in there, random crew members, different magical terrain and terrain features like magical storms, kelp forests, lure lights, kraken's grave, shipwrecks, sapping snow. That's all pretty great stuff, you know, and very old schoolish kind of stuff too. That great random, you know, story elements or random terrain elements. That's pretty awesome. Let's see here. What else we have in here? There is sample wreck in here for sampling under, if you want to go underwater and exploring things. More, actually, there's a couple of ruins in here, sunken ruins or shipwrecks. So like there's sunken ruins there. And ooh, sunken ship too. I imagine that I like the different terrain features in here too to make it feel like it's not just a flat and boring sea floor. There's actual 3 dimensions to the environment. It's pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. And then what else we got here? Magic items, and then a bunch of NPCs. Amphisbaena, which is a double-headed snake. That's finally been reintroduced as well. Assassin Vine, Bodak Bard, Bullywug Royal, Bullywug Croaker, Deep Scion, Drowned Ascetic. There's a Drowned Assassin. That looks pretty awesome. And so if you're really wanting to get your D&D Pirates of the Caribbean vibe on, it does appear that you can satisfy that with this product. There are the young Krakens, Locatha, yeah. So those fun, goofy looking guys. It's pretty cool. I like that. And from what I've read online as well too, this does a good job of kind of distinguishing between some of those underwater creatures. Like in even just from dating from the monster manual, the AD&D monster manual forward, there's always been a wide variety of underwater creatures in D&D, but sometimes it's kind of difficult to tell, you know, a merman from a triton, from a Locatha, from a, you know, Kyotoa to what are the other ones that are under there? Not Morkoth. What are they called? I don't remember. Unfortunately, I'm losing my studying the monster manual cred. Lots of variety of Shawagan in here too. So if you want to get your, you know, killing sea devils on, it looks like there's quite a few varieties of that kind of creature in here too. So that's neat. Lots of great skeletal alchemist. I don't care whether that's underwater or not. Skeletal juggernaut is listed in here. Boy, I'd get some use out of that sucker. There's the scum, skeletal swarm, storm giants in here. Cool. Okay, so that's what's in the adventures. So that's a lot of material, you know. And I think that actually that's an awful lot of material. So this is the again, like that's all the adventures that are in there. Plus, there's the extra encounters that they've added in as well. I don't know what the level range is for these things. So I can't speak to how long this will last you, but, you know, like, this feels like a really, yeah. So I guess I keep talking about comparing this to the Dragon Heist box set, and only because I think that those are really, there has been a couple other products recently that have started, showing up that are like massive deluxe versions of epic campaigns. You know, there's a version of the old Warhammer Enemy Within campaign that has been listed in for the Warhammer Fantasy 4th edition, and it's similarly priced to what the full size Dragon Heist box set is, where it's this elaborate thing. And you saw a couple things like there's the Pirates of Drinax box set, which is right there for Traveller 2nd edition from Mongoose. That did another similar thing where it gave a really deluxe version, but where this whole series kind of differs from those is the amount of handouts in them as well too. Not only is it a really prestige, beautiful version of the underlying adventure, it also provides you with some terrific in-hand supplements. For this one, assuming that you're one of those hardbacks like Ghost of Saltmarsh and all the other ones, they've Curse of Strahd, what is it, the something Abyss, I don't remember because I didn't really like it all that much, but the different hardbacks that TSR or WotC has put out in the last little while, I think this is a pretty cool, and more, if you're looking for something that is a little more a reasonable price for something that you may not see an awful lot of use out of, like if you're getting in on a $500 product and playing through an entire campaign, it would be great if you could always do that, and every group could do that, but I think it's the minority for groups that really go through a full campaign. If you're more of a sporadic player, or if you've got rotating cast of players, and you want to get something that just will make those, give you the similar type of tactile experience that you get at play, this is a much more reasonably priced product from that perspective. And in addition, if you are going to play through a really long standing campaign, I think this is another really great product as well. And I'll bet you that there is more repeated use you would get out of this if you are running a nautical campaign. You're going to be able to make use of some more of these, not the handouts necessarily, but some of the other materials, like even just having the appendix with the different underwater things. I can tell you that I don't have any underwater campaigns or any underwater sessions planned in any of my ongoing campaigns right now, but I do have a pretty strong nautical component to one of my ongoing campaigns, and I'm going to be using the shit out of the nautical stuff in here and stealing those rules for random encounters at sea, because even though I don't really run 5th edition D&D all that much, all the monsters that are in here are all classic monsters too. So even if you're an old school player who likes the old classic modules, you're still going to find lots of great stuff in here as well, and some terrific tactile handouts. I'll bet you could also, this is something that is not a unreasonable impulse buy to play through just one of the adventures. At the price point for this thing, and I don't remember if it's 150 or I've got it open right now. Give me a sec here. The price point of this sucker is, let's click on order now. Speaking of, while I'm doing that, you can find in the link in the description of the video below, there is a link to the Beadle and Grimm website where you can purchase a copy of this for yourself, because there still are copies available. Let's see here. Click on purchase. Pre-order now, ships in June. Let's see here. What's the price point here? Come on, Beadle and Grimm. Tell me what, it's 175 US. So with shipping is $200 US. $200, when you think that the hardback itself is probably going to cost you 40 or 50 US, you're looking at, for the other materials that are in here and for the box set and the canvas bag and stuff, you're looking at an excess of about $110. And if I think, I don't want to say one way or the other, whether that's for every individual group and for every individual person, that's going to be their decision as to whether that's money well spent or not. But I think that, compared to the price point of similar things like the Pirates of Drinax box set, like the Mass of Nyarlathotep box set for Call of Cthulhu, like the crazy, box set for the Enemy Within. This is a really great value for what you're getting. There's a lot more. There's a lot bigger box you get with the Dragon Heist box set, but this feels like almost as much content as what was in the other one. Which is really surprising. So they've done a really, really good job of cramming a great deal of value in here. And I would even, I don't know. It's pretty cool. Look at that on the back there too. Boom. Yeah, so it's a really terrific product. Now, if you are still on the fence as to whether, maybe I want to buy this, maybe I don't want to buy this, I do have some good news that there is an opportunity for you to potentially win a copy of this, because you see, though regular viewers may be aware that we run a charity campaign on the channel. We don't run a Patreon. We don't monetize the channel in any way. The only thing we do is we run a charity called Heroes, or a charity initiative called Heroes Save Villages, which benefits the SOS Children's Villages International charity. And the reason I mention that is because from now until July 1st, 2019, we have a charity raffle going on where the grand prize from it is actually a copy of that $500 Beadle and Grimm Dragon Heist box set. That's something I purchased and I donated to make the campaign. However, the very, very, very kind people at Beadle and Grimm have donated a copy of Ghosts of Saltmarsh for another prize. So if you like what you see, you think maybe it's a little too, that might be a little too rich for your blood, or you just, would rather maybe get it, maybe not get it. From now until July 1st, for every $25 that's donated to the Heroes Save Villages campaign, you're entered once to win into the charity raffle. And one of the prizes that's available, in addition to the Dragon Heist box set, in addition to a bunch of other cool stuff that we've got, like a copy of the Warhammer Fantasy 4th Edition core rulebook donated by Cubicle 7, the core rulebook for the RuneQuest Glorantha role-playing game, it's something I donated, Fantasy Flight Games Legend of the Five Rings role-playing game, again donated by me, both rulebooks for the Delta Green role-playing game. You can win a copy, and this is still... I opened it up to make sure that it was a copy of this, but I haven't opened up even the bubble wrap. So this is going to be coming to you just as if you got it directly from the very generous donors at Beadle and Grimm as well. So if this does look like something you might want to toss a couple, bucks in for, $25 Canadian as well too, which for American viewers or elsewhere in the world will know that Canadian dollars are largely made of maple. And we're substantially less than what American dollars are. So for every $25, you're entered once into the raffle. This is just one of the prizes. And a huge, huge, huge thank you to the people at Beadle and Grimm for donating a copy of such a beautiful product. Like this is my personal copy because I really wanted to get it. I liked the content of the Dragon Heist box set. And if it sounds at all like I'm downplaying the value in Dragon Heist, the thing I found was just that the adventure itself, and not the content, the adventure itself was just not something I was really all that excited about. I am not a Forgotten Realms fan, so it's just really wasn't the thing I was particularly excited about. This, not only is it set in Greyhawk, but this, from what I remember or what I know about the original module, is I can set it pretty much anywhere. I do not need to have the trappings of, the signature city or one of the two signature cities from the Forgotten Realms in this. This can be set pretty much anywhere. So that's awesome. And for regular viewers of the channel, too, who know that I like to adapt stuff as well, too, this has got a lot of stuff I'm going to steal, in particular the Sea Voyage stuff. So my players who are listening at home who bemoan the fact that I wreck their ship every time, look forward to more shipwrecks, boys, because it's a-coming. Anyway, so that is the contents of the Ghosts of Saltmarsh. Again, for the folks at Beadle and Grimm, thank you so much for your incredible generosity in donating a copy of this for the raffle. I greatly appreciate that. And I very much look forward to using the hell out of my copy of Ghosts of Saltmarsh as well. Now, as always, if you have any comments, questions, or concerns regarding the contents of the Ghost of Saltmarsh thing, or if you've got more questions about what what's in there, please don't hesitate to leave a comment in the comment section below. Either myself or someone else in the community will, who knows more, which is a lot, they will respond and hopefully answer for you too. If you have a copy of, I guess one simple thing is if you do have a copy of the hardback version of Ghosts of Saltmarsh, there's still a great deal of new material that's in here. And the one thing that I will say about the other one too is the handouts that you can reuse from this. It appears to be, yeah, man, it appears to be a lot of stuff in here. So, yeah, I'm gonna stop gushing about it. Let's see here. What else? I mentioned the charity raffle. So again, you can find a link to that in the description of the video. You can find a link to learn more about SOS Children's Villages International, the charity that benefits from the donations. I guess that's it. And I've been waiting so long for YouTube to get this up, or allowing me to actually get the stream going. Garrett Kelly, so I see you in chat too. Thank you so much. I'm really glad that you enjoyed the Traveler videos. That's terrific. Let's see here. So I guess until next time, then that's going to be everything I have to say about that. I'm not going to do. I might do a proper review of this also, but that'll be coming in a little later time. And once I have a chance to actually get it to the table, because again, regular viewers will know that I like to actually get something to the table to see how it actually plays before I give a review of it. Because I think that, as Matt Colville says, you know, this is the recipe. The actual meal comes from getting us to the table. And what a beautiful product to get to the table. So until next time, thank you so much for watching this unboxing video. Hope it's been helpful for helping you decide whether or not this is something you might want to pick up yourself. In addition, if you do end up deciding to donate to the Heroes Save Villages campaign, thank you so much for your generosity, and good luck. That's kind of it. So thanks again for watching, folks, and until next time, happy gaming.